Welcome back to the Trailblazer Pod. I'm your host Faye, and each week I bring you stories of Jewish women who are paving bold paths. This week's guest is Lauren Hofstatter. They don't call her the Orthodox therapist for nothing. She's a licensed mental health counselor, and in this episode is diving into intimacy, relationships, and what it really means to show up for yourself. From busting myths about Judaism and intimacy to balancing family, faith, and career, Lauren's here to help women find their voices and their confidence without apology. Let's dive in. Lauren, welcome to the Trailblazer Pod. Thank you so much for being here. Excited for this episode because it's a little bit different than what I usually do. It's a topic that is not often discussed. And I think as a podcast that is, I'm basically speaking to young women and Jewish women, I think it's really important to talk about this. And I know you feel the same way, obviously.
Yeah, that's my market demographic.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we align there. I want to start by understanding a little bit more about you. What were you like as a kid?
I'm one of three sisters. I'm the middle. I would say pretty typical, but definitely impulsive, made crazy choices, that type. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I was the one that was doing the crazy, silly things. I think also a little bit of the class clown, but also as I got older, and moved into high school, I was president of my class, that type.
Oh.
Yeah, very much a leader. That was always my thing. And my parents always encouraged it. So that was great.
Wow, that's interesting because I feel like that's almost two different types of personalities. Sometimes the leaders are very type A, serious, everything.
So not. Yeah.
And you, okay, were you creative?
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm still pretty creative in my own way when I have the brain space for it, because being creative is very emotionally draining. But
yeah,
I was definitely
interesting. Okay, it's interesting dynamic. How did Judaism play a role growing up?
So my parents were actually both Balei Tshuva.
Oh, interesting.
My dad's parents were in the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
They immigrated to Israel and then to America. My grandparents were both grew up in very Hasidic homes. But then when after the war, they basically stopped doing everything. And then when they immigrated to America, they were very traditional. My father went to Yeshiva Flatbush. I think my aunt did also. He had one sister. My father passed away 9.5 years ago.
Oh.
And then, thank you. And then my mom is third generation, I think, American, but grew up completely unaffiliated.
Oh,
completely. And actually, my parents always, they were very big on this. They met on CB radio. So everyone's well, what is that? It's what is that? Yeah, it's some type of, I honestly don't know. It was in the 70s, but it was kind of walkie-talkies. It was their version of social media, I guess.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they met over that. It was weird. And then, I don't know. And then they were married for a few years and decided to become more religious. I grew up modern Orthodox. I went to Hank for high school and elementary school. I went all the way through. Me and my sisters went there. I also was, because my parents are Balei Tshuva, I went to Camp Nagila. Jeff was a very big part of my life from 9, 10, 11, 12 was a very big part of my life. And then, and also NCSY was a big part of my life.
Yeah.
And it's now, my good friend, her husband was my NCSY advisor. It's funny.
Small Jewish geography.
Yeah, it's funny how things play out. It's cute. So that was always a big part of my life. And then I graduated high school. I went to seminary, went to Michael Esther.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got back, my parents were already keeping Shabbos kosher. They started doing that before I was born.
Mm-hmm.
They were married for many years till they had children. And when I got back, I was kind of teetering with what I wanted to do. And again, I was 19. I was still living with my parents, but I could really do whatever I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided okay, I definitely want to be more religious. And then I had met my husband actually as a senior in high school. That's a whole nother story.
Aww.
But we made the decision together. I mean, my husband grew up Hasidish. That's how he grew up. So it was totally, we're very, people are how did you guys get married? I'm
yeah.
I don't know.
So, no, but it's cool because it's a real thing, especially for someone who talks about relationships and intimacy and all that stuff. It is hard, I think, for people who come from different backgrounds to have that.
So it happens to be my younger sister also ended up marrying somebody even more Hasidish than my husband, Satmar, where's a Shlomo. And it's so funny because we're so not the type.
So funny.
we came from such a not the type background that it's so funny how we both ended up with Hasidish guys.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, okay. I mean, my husband doesn't wear the lavush, so it's different.
Mm-hmm.
He's not. But he identifies as Hasidish because he is. He went to
very Heimish.
Yeah,
right?
very Heimish, and that's how he was raised. Yeah. So whatever. And people ask us that all the time. So met my husband as a senior in high school, went to Israel, came back, and then we started dating. We got married. started dating seriously. We dated a little bit before, got married, and we decided that's how we wanted to raise our children. Now I would definitely say I'm not modern Orthodox. I don't know what I am, honestly. Like,
Okay,
there's so
that's fair.
yeah, there are so
Yeah.
many. I don't know what any of these labels mean.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not yeshivish. I'm not Hasidish.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't know. Like,
You're just I just say I'm Jewish.
yeah, like I'm
Jewish.
I'm an Orthodox Jew. Whatever
yeah.
that means to you, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, I'm, right. So.
Yeah.
Jewish Orthodox, definitely more religious than I was raised, meaning I went to mixed high school, elementary school. My kids are not. Mertishem, our oldest, is going to seminary in a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, we're very excited.
Wow.
And yeah, we're definitely raising our kids in a different fashion than I was raised, but also in a different fashion than my husband was raised. Like, he was raised.
Right.
So we're like somewhere in the middle,
Okay, that makes sense then. You guys kind of figured out your own thing.
Yeah.
How did your parents react to you becoming like even more Orthodox than they were?
They didn't really have a reaction. I think they were okay with it. Like, they didn't really care. They were like, okay, like, you do you, like, it's fine. And it happens to be they didn't care, but my dad's family didn't care. My mom's family cared. They
Really?
they were a little bit, like, unfortunately, like, self-hating Jew type. Like, why is kosher important? And but this was even when my parents got religious. And then when I was even more religious, like, you're gonna wear a wig.
It was too much.
Yeah, they're like, you're gonna wear a wig, and like, they came to my wedding and it was separate seating, and they were like, what is this? This is not what I'm like, okay, like, come, don't come, like, I'm not, like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, like, I'm not, you know what I mean? So, but thank God, like, my immediate family, my sisters, my parents were very accepting. They love my husband. My dad loved my husband. And, yeah, Baruch Hashem.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk. You said you went to seminary, but like, what did you envision for your life career-wise? Like, was therapy, education, any of that on like...
So it's interesting. I always thought I was going to be a speech therapist.
Okay.
That was a thing that I don't know where. Honestly, it was an idea that I got in high school. I don't know where I got it from.
Okay.
But I am like a big talker, so I think in my head it was like, I want to be able to use this bracha of speech to help people. But when I got back from Israel, my first semester in college, I took phonetics. It is the worst class in the world. It was so bad, and I was like, nope, like, I am not doing this. So in terms of that, like, that's why I say, like, this job kind of chose me, like, the career kind of chose me, because the only other option, because I had so many credits already, was to get a BA in psych. So I was like, okay, fine. So it ended up being that I did my first year in Turo in Flatbush, and then we moved to Florida. And they had a Turo college south there. So that was the only way I was willing to move. I'm like, I'm not going to transfer my credits and lose credit. That's not fair.
Yeah.
So fine. So I transferred there. And then I had one professor, happens to be, who was super supportive. It's funny how, like, at least for me, throughout my life, when I didn't have my parents either emotionally or physically near me, I always managed, like, Hashem always put somebody in my way or in my life that would support me. You know what I'm saying? Like, my husband couldn't support me in this way. Like, he didn't really, you want to get a degree? Cool. Like, it's not something that he was, like, used to.
Yeah.
Not something that he thought was a necessity. I was raised that this was a necessity. It was not an option. Now he's very happy.
Right.
But whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because I pushed myself.
Yes.
Also, throughout that time, I had 2 children. I got pregnant with my first, like, literally right away after we got married. So we got married the June after my first year in college. And then I got pregnant right away. I had her the following April.
Wow.
And then we got pregnant. Like, it was just... So
you were dealing with
Yeah.
first year of marriage, pregnancy, first year
finishing
of college,
school. Yeah, it was
moving.
a lot. It was a lot.
Oh my gosh, wow.
It was crazy. It was really a
Wow.
lot. But it was the best thing. It was a great choice. Like, we love our community, Baruch Hashem, like, it's amazing. It was my last semester, and I sat with a professor in the school, the head of the psychology department then, and I said, we were, like, friendly, whatever. I had spoken to him, and I was like, I know I need to get a master's. I can't do anything with a bachelor's in psychology. What do I do? And I felt so torn. I didn't know what to do. And I keep in mind, like, I had already had 2 kids by then.
Yeah.
I was like 22, 23 maybe younger. I don't remember, whatever.
Oh my God.
And I knew I wanted to keep going, and a big part of me wanted to do the doctorate. I didn't want to just do the master's, but he guided me and basically said, like, you have too much on your plate. I don't think you should do the doctorate right now. I think you should just get the master's in mental health counseling. I didn't even think about anything else. I didn't think about what's the difference between mental health and social work. I didn't think about any of that. I was like, or marriage and family therapy. I was like, okay, I'll do what you say. Like, I'm telling you, Hashem put these people in my life to guide me, but kind of to make the choices for me, and it just made it easy. So I ended up applying to a school in Florida, pretty competitive program. I was shocked I got in. Nova Southeastern University. I did my master's there. That was hard just because there I didn't have anybody to like support me through the program. It was more so me just like hustling and pushing. And I was networking and meeting people, etc. But like, I definitely was the only Orthodox Jew in the room.
Wow,
and very clearly I looked like the only Orthodox Jew in the room, and I was pregnant again.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was pregnant again. By the end of my master's, I had 4 kids. So I was pregnant again with my son.
Girl.
It was crazy. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, it was really, like, it was almost like this, because when you asked me before, like, one of your questions was about balance, I'm like, I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, it's
I love
hard.
That. I love the honesty.
Yeah,
I love the
really,
honesty.
it's really hard because, listen, I love being a mother to my kids, and I love being a wife, but it really got to a space where I needed something for me. I needed something outside, and I don't want to ever say just that, but I probably would say the same thing if I didn't have my kids and had only my mental health counseling career. I would probably say, like, this is not enough. I need something else.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I needed all the things, like, to feel like a more holistic feeling
totally
within myself. Right. Yeah. So finished the master's. I tried to start working, and my oldest at that time was 6. And she said I worked for a couple of weeks, and she made a comment like, "Mommy, it's okay if you're too tired to play with me. I know you're playing with everyone, the other kids. It's okay." And I was like, "Oh my God, no." So basically, I was really sad. So I stopped working, because the way it works with mental health is that you do your master's, and then you have 2 years of like a residency almost that you have to work in order to get licensed. You take a test and you have to get licensed. Fine. So I kind of like let that sit there for a little. I didn't really think about it, had a bunch more kids. And then when I was pregnant, I think, with my last, maybe not.
Which is how many?
10.
Because you say a bunch. Yeah, that's more than a bunch.
Yeah, I have 10.
That's a lot of kids.
Yeah, 10. I don't do anything small, like, at all, ever.
It's all or nothing.
Actually, though, but it's getting to be exhausting. I can't keep doing this. But I can't remember when it was. I think it might have been during COVID, actually. So I had just had my 5-year-old. It was during COVID, I think. She was born right before COVID, January 29th, 2020. So like right before. I got a letter in the mail from the state basically saying like, you need to go finish your hours, or we're not letting you keep your license. Like, that's it.
Oh my
You're going to have to go get a new license. Like, go back to school. Like, I was like, no. So quickly found that, keep in mind, it's during COVID.
Right.
So, and I can't, where am I working in person? It was crazy. But I ended up finding somewhere. It was awesome. I actually worked in a school pretty close to my house. She was amazing to work with. She's like that woman. I happen to be obsessed with Chabad. I don't know if I don't know. It's a personal obsession. It's fine. Yeah. I just think that so far, everything in my life that's led me in a positive direction Chabad has been involved in some way in helping me, whether it be like the person is Chabad or I don't know. It's just been helpful. Baruch Hashem.
Yeah.
So you're good. So I started working at the school. I think it was early 2021, meaning that following school year. Like, I went for the interview, I spoke to the principal, and then that following September I started working. No problem. Did my first full year, and it was great. And then at August of that year, I got pregnant again with my daughter, with my 10th, and was doing great, was totally fine, like going through the motions until January of 2022, when this really changed our entire life. Our baby, I was my 20-week sonogram, and our daughter got diagnosed with a congenital heart condition. Oh, yeah. So now, thank God, everything's fine. But at the time, it was so scary because I don't know how doctors are okay with this, but like they don't give you information. And I was alone because it was still like considered like COVID. We only let one person in. Fine. And they wouldn't tell me what, they just said like, your baby's heart is abnormal and we don't know what's wrong.
Oh my gosh.
Great. Long story very short. So it ended up being that she does have a very rare condition. Thank God it's not genetic. Like, I had all the things running through my head. Like, is this going to affect my other kids? I don't know. I had so many things like rolling around in my brain at that time. But from January, when we got diagnosed, January 6th, thank God I was able to finish my internship. March 1st was my last day. So, but it was like, that from January until she was born on May 9th, from January 6th to May 9th, it was an emotional roller coaster. I could not, like, that was something, and thank God my husband has extremely strong bitachon when it comes to anything like this. it was so hard for me. I couldn't function.
And you had 9 other kids.
I had
to
9
take
other
care of.
kids. And I couldn't hide it from them. Like, I was an emotional mess. It was really hard. It was really hard. And there some crazy things had happened. It was just so much that, like, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was just happy I finished my internship, honestly.
Can I stop you here and ask you for to give advice to somebody who's going through this? And I feel like sometimes there isn't. Sometimes it's kind of just like you put your head down and you just survive. I feel like. So, do you have something you can say to somebody struggling?
The best thing that I did, honestly, because I'm very much the type that, like, what can I do? What can I do? Hishtadlus, you know what I mean? Like, and put in more and more. Exactly. Yeah. But after like 2 weeks, literally, from like by the end, or maybe 3 weeks, by the end of January, we already had our surgeon in Miami that we were going to need. We had already interviewed a bunch of surgeons, and we picked one. I already had the surgeon. I was already in constant contact with the surgeon because she had a very, very specialized surgery in Boston Children's Hospital. I was already in contact with him. I had already sent all of her stuff to him. Like, I did all the things. There was nothing else for me to do. So that's the space that was really hard for me. That, like, I cannot do anything. There were 17 weeks, no, a little bit less, maybe like 15 weeks, where I couldn't do anything. Yeah. There was nothing for me to do. But through that, it was Hashem showing me that I don't have control over everything. And it shifted my whole life. It really shifted my whole life. And, like, my only advice for somebody going through it is get the information that you need, but then stop looking. Stop looking. There's nothing to do at that point. And honestly, sometimes, I mean, at least for our situation that she had a very rare condition, most doctors don't know a lot about it. Like 40 years ago, pregnancies like this were being terminated. So, like, they don't have any information. So there's nothing to really do. It happened to be that, thank God, like, because another piece of the story is that we ended up flying to Boston with Hatzalah Air because she kept getting sick, and it was a whole thing, and then we kept having to push off the surgery. So Baruch Hashem, we were able to work with Hatzalah Air so that way she wouldn't have germs. Wow. And it was crazy because I had all the contact information, how to do it, etc. And I got a phone call. I think it was either this past Pesach or the Pesach before. My friend came back. Her husband's family's from Chicago, and she met a friend there whose baby was born with a heart condition. He was in and out of the hospital. Wasn't the same condition as my baby, but was in and out of the hospital. They were trying to figure out if they should send him from the Chicago hospital to Boston because they didn't feel. So I said to her, I'm like, give her my number. Like, it's not the same condition, but, like, maybe I can help her. Yeah. And it happened to be she called me, like, that day. And I gave her all the information for Hatzalah Air and everything. And why was it, like, so hashgacha pratis? It was crazy. So her baby had just gotten released from the hospital. Everything was okay. He seemed okay. Fine. And, like, the next morning or something like that, literally the day after we had spoken, she was in carpool and the baby was in the back with her, in the back of the car. She got out to let her kids out and her baby was blue.
Oh my gosh.
It was crazy. And they did not want to do the surgery in Chicago. And because she had all the information for Hatzalah that I had just given her like 12 hours before.
Wow. She didn't have to do any of the work. No, she just had it right there.
She had it. Yeah. Wow. And she was able to get her baby, and now he's doing great and, like, totally healthy, growing, amazing. And, like, she texts me once in a while, like, how's your baby? Like, da-da-da. Like, she knows that we're still, like, kind of in it because our baby needs one more procedure. But it's just, like, it's so crazy. And, like, that's something that you can, like, sometimes Hashem gives you the bracha to know why things happen. And it's very hard when you're in that tornado, those emotions, to feel like not feel, why is this happening to me? Why is Hashem doing this to me?
So natural.
Yeah. Am I being punished? Did I do something?
Why me?
Yeah. And then I kind of got to that space of like the more like the Breslov or Kabbalistic space of like, this is the baby's tikkun. It's my tikkun to be her mother, but it's the baby's tikkun to like be on this journey. And because there were so many things they were telling us, it was just so hard. Thank God she had 2 surgeries. And now she's okay. She probably is going to have another one in the next year. And then we're done. Please God, I hope.
Wow.
But through that process, how I got into this. Yeah, there's been a lot.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, how I got into intimacy and relationships was like a year and a half into working, something like that. I really wanted to like feel finished. I really wanted to get the doctorate. So I contacted where I did my master's. And I asked them about their PsyD program. The difference between a PsyD and a PhD is PsyD is clinical-based, PhD is research-based. Fine. I did not want to go get the PhD. I wanted to do the clinical psychology degree, finish it, meaning it should have been another 3 years. So I told them and I said, yeah, I have my master's from you. They were like, oh, we don't do that. I'm like, you don't do what? They're like, we don't take the master's. You have to start again. I'm like, what? I was like, why would I do that?
So stupid.
Absolutely. Yeah, like absolutely not. Like that's not happening. So I was looking into different PhD programs because that PhD, my program at least, is 1 year of coursework, which thank God was not hard. And which most PhD programs are not. The coursework's not the part that's hard. The dissertation is the part that's hard.
Right.
So I chose clinical sexology because I was seeing it actually, even with, because I don't only see adults and couples, I do see children and families too. Because I also specialize in ADHD, ADD, like that type of stuff. I did like an extra certification for that. And I was starting to see like little things, not necessarily to do with sexual intimacy, more so to do with relationships. And like even the parent-child relationship in terms of how we talk to each other or what we're saying, like that's part of my degree. It's because that people are like my husband's like, why can't you just say you're getting your PhD in psychology? I'm like, because I'm not. You want to say intimacy and relationships? Go for it. But that's what it is. It's intimacy and relationships. I'm trying to teach. So it's not just like the sex part. It's also learning much more of my of what I'm doing and what I've learned is teaching people how to talk to each other in a way that each other can hear. That's really my goal. Not necessarily let's have an amazing sex life. That's not my goal.
I think if you actually look at your work, like your social media and like what you're talking about, that's pretty clear. Like sex is one little part of it.
Exactly.
That happens to fall under the umbrella. But I think when people just like hear like what you do, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
right, exactly. Like my kids, like people always ask me like, are your kids embarrassed? I'm like, first of all, they don't care. Like even a little. Second of all, like, but my older son, so I have 2 girls, 2 boys, 6 girls. So my older, So my older son is 15. So he'll make a comment, and then my younger daughter of my 2 older ones is 16. So 16 and 15, and she made a comment to me, like at the Shabbos table. Thank God it was only us. My 16-year-old, like, oh, mommy, you must be obsessed with sex. I'm like, what? Like, what is that? Why do you think that? She goes, well, you're a doctor of sex. I'm like, first of all, no, I'm not. And I'm like, what do you? But I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, well, a foot doctor is obsessed with feet. I'm like, no, they're not. Is a heart doctor, a cardiologist is obsessed with hearts? I'm like, what does that mean?
That's hilarious, like, but it's so cute because teenagers only know what they know.
Beyond, but right? I was like, what are you talking about? That's like so not. I'm like, no, that's not what. No.
But I love that she felt comfortable as Brittany.
Yeah, like, no, thank God.
Like, that's cool.
For the most part, my kids do feel comfortable to come to me because I try to make it. Meaning they know that it's like a sanua concept, like a modesty is a big part of what I do, and that's why. And people don't get it, which I wish they would. That's why the not gonna lies are it only in, I mean they can only, no, actually I could make them into a reel if I wanted to. I don't. They're only in the stories or in the highlights, and they're private because you would have to click on it and choose to read it if you wanted to, because there are things in there that are make people highly uncomfortable. That's why I don't just like
I went through it.
Yeah, I don't shout it from the rooftops because it makes people highly. And by the way, the ones you're seeing are the ones that I put out. Some of them I don't.
You like filter some of them.
I do, because it gets to a point where I'm like, okay, like this person is just asking this to be annoying. Like I'm not, you know what I mean?
No, of course, because people, they don't have an opportunity to talk about this stuff, and when the second they do, right, some people are gonna like take advantage and really say the stuff that.
Exactly.
I mean, even some of the ones that you put out, I was pretty impressed that you put them out.
Right. Some of them, right. So, and there are other therapists that are doing what I'm doing, but they make it. They won't answer these questions on social media, which I understand. Meaning, listen, you're, you know, in the beginning, my husband did say to me, like, do you think we should be worried that you're posting this stuff for like our kids shidduchim? And I was like,
always what it comes down to.
Yeah, I was like, buddy, like, no, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not gonna like. I'm like, first of all, like, I'm not a quiet human being. That's not my personality. Like, ask anyone in our community. Do you know Lauren Hofstatter? Yeah, she's the loud one, like in the corner over there.
God.
Like, that's who I am. Like, that's always who I've been my whole life. And like, he knows that about me. And like, honestly, at this point, I hope that my kids, like, you know, potential spouses see my Instagram, because they're going to know that my kids are educated, and I'm not going to be the one that's going to, you know, ignore chas v'shalom pain with sex, or ignore when I notice that, like, well, it depends, but ignore if I notice that one of my kids is that you know, my son or my daughter is talking to their spouse in a way that's inappropriate. I'm not going to be the one to ignore that. So buckle up. I don't know.
Fair.
Yeah.
The thing I really appreciate about you posting it versus just having the one-on-one is because I feel like sometimes and I can see people write this, like, am I crazy for thinking this? Am I weird? Am I strange? And you're putting it out there so and other people can go and see, like, oh, I'm not the only one that
exactly
thinks this, feels this, some version of it.
Right. So that's why the NGLs though are so hard for me, because I'll get some NGLs and I think people know that I can't respond to them. I don't know who they are, meaning the only way that they get a response is if I post it.
Right.
So then I'm like, I sometimes I look at them and I'm like, I really don't want to post this. I really don't feel comfortable. But like, if I don't post it, the person's never gonna get an answer. Never gonna have anyone to talk to about it. Like that's kind of where
that's so hard.
Yeah, that's kind of where. So sometimes I definitely do post things that are not necessarily within my comfort zone of things I want to post. But again, I also know that if I don't say something, they're never gonna get an answer ever. And then what? You know,
and then they're probably gonna like spiral and be like, oh, she didn't answer, I must really be
right
crazy.
So there are some, I have a few people, they're not clients, that have DM'd me and like essentially trying to get like a free session via DM. Okay.
Yeah.
And again,
so how do you put a boundary
so again, I know typically I say, like, if you have a therapist, you should be having these conversations with them. And if you don't feel like you can, then that's a sign for you to find a new therapist. Okay. So typically people get the hint with that, but then I'll note, like, certain NGLs will come over and over and over again, like the same question formatted differently, and I know it's these people. Like, I know it's that person who's writing it just because we've gone over it. Like, how many times am I going to validate? Like, it's sad. Some people just need the validation of feeling like I'm normal, exactly what you're saying.
And you happen to be the person making them feel that way.
Yeah, right. But then, okay, then obviously the therapist you're working with is not working for you, and you either should start finding somebody else, or you can work with me. That's fine. I work with everybody.
You do say that in a lot of them, like, you should probably talk to your therapist or get a therapist to discuss this.
Right. Because I don't want people to feel like I'm like selling myself. It feels gross. Like, it feels disingenuous. Like, either you want to work with me, you don't want to work with me. Like, that's fine.
I think that's great.
Do you know what I mean? But like, they have to get the help they need, whether it's me or someone else. Meaning, not everybody likes my style. I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's important for therapy. A lot of people are not comfortable with the concept, and when they do finally decide to go see a therapist, they don't like their first one. They're like, that's it. This is it. Therapy's not for me.
First of all, I always tell people, I get that a lot. People messaging me or an NGL or whatever. How many times is enough for me to say this therapist is not working for me? I'm like 3 or 4, maybe, like 3 or 4 sessions. If you're walking out not feeling like you're getting what you need, and you can't say to the therapist, you know, something feels off, I don't feel like I'm getting what I need, move on. Yeah. It's like dating.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I was trying to say. You put it in like one word. Yeah. It's like dating.
It's like dating. Yeah, exactly. You move on. And I always start the sessions with my clients initially saying, like, no matter how many letters before or after my name I have, I'm not an expert in your life. You're the expert in your life. Oh, so yeah, and again, I might make recommendations, and you might say, "Oh, that's not going to work for me." I'm okay with that. Then we find a new recommendation. You know what I'm saying? You don't just we don't have to go with the first pass. We figure it out, right? I never want a client to feel intimidated by me, or I know better than they do. I don't. There's no way. There's no way. You know.
I love it. Yeah, I love your honesty.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna quote you, and I think this is from like one of your posts. Mm-hmm. You're saying, like, you're breaking the silence on intimacy in Orthodox marriage because real connection starts with real conversation. And I just want to preface saying, like, of course I cater to Jewish women, but all types of Jewish women. Correct. So some of them don't know what the Orthodox community is like. So can you share a little bit, like, why you think there's so much silence around this topic in the Orthodox community?
I think, honestly, in one word, shame.
Mm-hmm. Of
intimacy. Yeah, shame when it comes to anything, because everybody wants to have this image of being perfect. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And nobody wants to be the first one to raise their hand, maybe except me. I'll raise my hand. I don't care.
Not the quiet one.
Yeah, I'm okay to tell people, like, people, like, I get that all the time, and it's actually funny. Like, I don't get it, Lauren. Like, how are you so calm? Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh my God. Like, if I said, talk to my husband, I am the opposite of calm. I talk to any of my, I mean, as you get older, I don't know how old you are, but as you get...
29.
Okay, so I'm 39.
Okay.
So I definitely found moving into my 30s, and as I got older, I'm friends with everybody. I'm friendly. I don't care. Yeah. But my close unit of friends shifted and changed. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, like, so I was prefacing that by saying, like, I have, like, 3-4 close friends who know I am Panic City. Just because I wear a good mask and I put some makeup on and a sheitel, doesn't mean that I'm not falling apart on the inside. Doesn't mean that I'm not worried, or, oh, just to circle back for 1 second, it just reminded me, one thing that I learned and something that I try to give over to everybody, anyone I work with, because also, by the way, I don't only work within the Orthodox Jewish community. I have non-Jewish clients, meaning, because I also am a certified sex therapist, so I have the gamut of people. But what I've learned from that 15 or 16 weeks with my baby was the concept of worrying about something that might actually never happen is such a waste of emotional energy. It drains your life force as a person. Yeah. There's no, you know what I'm saying?
But it's so hard.
It's so hard. But you know what? From that experience, I have to give myself positive self-talk.
So do you feel, now that you experience it, just because I deal with this all the time, I always am thinking 6 steps ahead.
Oh, I was like that. Wrong. It was, I burned out by 30
Do you catch yourself now? Yeah. Or does it not happen anymore?
I catch myself.
It happens and you catch yourself.
Yeah, it happens. And I'm like, I'll start thinking, even now. So something came up today that I was thinking about Rosh Hashanah. And I started getting okay, what am I going to cook? What am I going to do? I'm like, Lauren.
Wow.
Lauren.
Okay. Yeah.
Lauren, what is everyone going to wear? No, nothing. We're all going to be great. I had to give up. I used to be such a perfectionist. Once I had 10 kids, it was impossible. But when I only had 3 or 4, they had to look perfect and have the bow and da. And now I'm like, you know what? I try. Yeah. I try. All I could do is try. And giving up that level, meaning there's not enough emotional energy in one person to give. I can't do it. I'll literally be like an empty shell. Yeah. So that's one thing that if I could give that, if in this next hour,
that's for me.
If I can give over anything,
I appreciate
that feeling of worrying about things and something that might not ever actually even be an issue. It's just such a waste of time. It takes away so much from your life. It's so hard. Yeah, for sure.
I love, earlier you were saying Hishtadlus, and I always am constant. I feel like I'm very similar with you like that. I'm always I remember learning obviously at the end of the day everything's up to Hashem, but you have to do your Hishtadlus. And so when I get into this frenzy mode, I'm always am I doing too much Hishtadlus? Am I not believing that this?
It's funny that you're saying this. This is something that's been. It's funny how I'm telling you, Hashem sends you the people So I've been having this dilemma within myself for the past many years, but it really came to the surface over the last month. The concept of when is it enough?
Exactly.
When is it enough Hishtadlus to then say, okay, when?
Exactly.
It's the toughest, and I'm still battling it. Meaning, when does bitachon kick in and my Hishtadlus can stop and I can rest?
What's the line?
Exactly. So I've been so I have people that I've been asking these questions to, and people have been sending me podcasts, and people have. And I'm still struggling with it. I have a very, very close friend who's a Rebbetzin in California. And I asked her, because I don't know, this lady has so much bitachon. I don't even know. We grew up together from middle school. She's amazing. I don't know how. I really don't. Wow. And she's just you just need to let it go. You just need to. And I'm I know. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. I would love to let it go. That would be excellent. Yeah. Everyone's
I know. I love when people say it. And it's how do you just let it go?
You
right?
Can't. It's
your
really
brain.
Hard.
Brains are powerful. Yeah. If it's there, it's there. Yeah. Okay, that really valid. I feel valid.
Good. It's a real thing, and I've been struggling with it for my whole life, and definitely now. I don't know why specifically now. Yeah. I think honestly, I think it's because I'm starting to feel a little bit burnt out, a little bit. Not necessarily. Actually, no, not burnt out. Having a hard time finding a balance. Mm-hmm. So then it's somebody else that I work with. Actually, she's amazing. I started doing something with Jewish Women's Wellness. I don't know if you saw it pop up on my Instagram feed, but I work with them. They're doing this whole holistic. She's trying to build. It's from Eve Elmhorn and Esther. I forgot her last name. I'm sorry. She's trying to build out this whole system of support for women, and it's amazing. So we did one of these actually, a podcast together, and she was saying how in life the analogy she gave for balance was you're juggling, and some of the balls you're juggling are glass and some are plastic. So you can't let the glass balls drop because then they're going to be broken. But if you drop a plastic ball, it's okay. And I'm yeah, but
that's so smart.
So I said to her, I'm but what's plastic? Yeah.
You're always thinking
exactly.
You're always taking off the layer of the onion, and there's another layer.
Exactly. Then I'm well, what can I consider plastic? My kids' yontif clothes, can it be plastic? Can they wear what's in their closet? Yes. Yeah. Nobody's going to die if they wear their clothes. Meaning I live in Florida, so we have the same outfits.
Same, yeah,
exactly. So I'm like, they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I can't. Like my daughter.
But you really have to go and make the list in your head.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Like,
so you know what's funny? I used to be a big lister, and I stopped.
Okay.
I couldn't do it. It was
hard.
too
Yeah.
hard. It was I can't.
Yeah.
I constantly felt like I was like checking in on myself. It was too much.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But certain things I do listen, and thank God meaning at a certain point my executive functioning like turns off. I don't know. My husband, thank God, is like Mr. Organized Executive Functioning man. So thank God. Like we really balance each other in that way.
That's beautiful.
Thank God. Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah. I was just gonna say it's funny. My husband was really good at like he checks in. We like talk about all the time like what's priority, like what comes first, because we both do a million different things,
Right.
and it's like he's a firefighter and he does like search and rescue, and I'm always like,
gosh.
if both calls came in, which one would you take? So it's like prioritize. This is more important, and then like I said, if you have a really big job, but then you get a call, are you leaving your job to get like we talk about it all the time, and he's so good at checking in like what's the glass ball, and I guess now I'm gonna use it. What's
Go
the
for
plastic?
it. I'm telling you, I got it. That was great.
But he's so much better. Yeah, I'm gonna tell her he's so much better than I am. So he really helps me like figure out.
Right. Yeah. So for me, I just feel like I'm juggling. I mean, no, we're both juggling a lot of balls, to be honest with you, me and my husband. And honestly, there are probably some balls that I have that he wouldn't even know about. I don't know.
Right.
Things that I'm worrying about, and vice versa, both ways. You know what I'm saying? That I don't even know some of the things he thinks about. But thank God, like you have to hope that you marry somebody that can balance you in that way. I'm still struggling with it though. It makes complete sense. It's such a struggle. I don't know. I'll let you know. You'll get my number. I'll let you know how it goes. When I find a good answer, I feel good about.
Okay.
Like literally, I just text random rabbis all the time.
Yeah.
Somebody give me an answer.
Also mentors are important. Okay, so back to like the marriage intimacy.
Yes.
In the Orthodox community, you were saying it comes with unique challenges. I know a little bit, but let's talk about it. Like, what are some of those unique challenges?
What I find for people that are still within, it's not only necessarily with Hasidim. I find it more with Hasidim, but it's happening everywhere. This concept of gender roles, like what's a wife's job and what's the husband's job, because those are getting very blurred now. Meaning we're in 2025. We're not in 1965,
right.
And things are expensive, and people need to have a 2-family household. But then it's like, okay, if we have a 2-family household, like that, do we share all the responsibilities?
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? That's something that I'm seeing is really hard. Or I'm seeing women that want to be heard more by their husbands, but weren't raised that way. Like in the more insulated Jewish communities, like women don't really have as much of a voice. So that's also a space, and the husbands get rip-roaring mad.
Because first of all, they weren't raised like that either, right?
Right.
And why do you think they're craving that more? Do you think they're seeing it on social media and they're like, oh, I should be able to do this?
Well,
it's
maybe
like
it's possible. Like I have tons of Hasidim that follow me that go by like Bill, Joe, like literally, and then like they'll send me a voice note, and I'm like, you clearly speak Yiddish, like. Clearly.
That's so
like
funny.
I hear your accent. Like not to be mean, like I love Hasidim. My husband's Hasidish. I'm in the Hasidish world a tremendous amount. My in-laws live in Borough Park. Like I'm okay with it. I'm down.
But you're not Bill.
You're not Bill. Are you like or you're not Joel. You're Yoeli. Like come on. Like really, you're not. So funny. Yeah, like it. So exactly. So these types of things all the time. So the part that women I think are craving it, and again, it's not even like I want to go out and get a job. Like a couple of situations I've been in are like women want to have a voice in terms of like their kitchadachim. And the husband's like,
they used to not.
What do you mean? Like this is something that I like. You can see the end result, but like and it was like fighting like crazy, killing each other over it. That was one example. There were obviously a multitude of things, but that was one. And he just like, she shouldn't have a say in this. I don't know what she's talking about. This is not how we work. And then I've seen the opposite also. And again, both insular Hasidish, where the wife really wants more help from the husband in terms of raising the kids. And he's like, what is happening here? Like, I have to work. She doesn't work. She's raising the kids. Why is she asking me to come home at 5:00 to help with bath time? Like, that's when I want to go do things for myself. I want to socialize with my friends. I want to whatever. Like, so again, I do think it comes down to balance, but I do think it's also, and again, I don't only see this with Hasidim. I see it across the board. I see it with super duper modern couples that have one kid. And
let me tell you something. I have just a dog. We got a dog.
yeah, I don't want a dog. It's worse than a person.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
She's a German Shepherd, so she requires a lot. But for the first time, I'm like texting my husband, like, "Can you please be home at 5? I need a break, and I work all day."
By the way, a firefighter with a German Shepherd. I'm just saying.
And search and rescue.
Yeah, literally.
No, he's a cool one. I gotta say that. But suddenly I'm having these conversations. I'm like, wow, I really cannot imagine how women with children do this. You have 10.
It's a lot. No, so I actually grew up with a dog, and my kids are begging for a dog, and I'm like, no.
You're gonna add an 11th to your family.
I'd rather have a baby then.
Oh my god.
No, like at least babies like grow up and leave. Dogs just they have to die to leave my house. No, and it's sad. It's horribly so sad. I'm not interested. No.
But she's like really, I'm so attached. Okay, so in one of your posts you also discuss like the misconception, and this is not just for Orthodox, but that Judaism doesn't encourage intimacy, and you talk about how it's actually a mitzvah, and I never heard anyone talk about this.
Yeah,
like,
no, it's not talked. I've had pretty modern clients that don't know basic anatomy, or they were taught. Yeah, it's crazy. Or they were taught that it's a woman's job to please her husband. Mm-hmm. Actually, no, it's actually the opposite.
It says that in
the mitzvah of Ona is that a husband should please his wife. That's the mitzvah.
Wow.
The mitzvah for women is that she should help her husband not do averos.
This is so wild. Because,
I'm just saying, yeah.
Not know this stuff.
Yeah,
wow.
I can send you something where you can like see it. It's interesting.
Yeah,
meaning when I first started, because again, the clinical sexology PhD has nothing to do with halacha. I ended up taking a totally separate Kala course.
Wow.
It was so intense. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I loved it. It was amazing, but totally separate, where I went back and learned all the halachos, like more in depth. I've been keeping it my whole life, but more in depth.
Also, you can keep something and not understand it.
Right, exactly.
Right?
So through that process, also with Myra that lives in my community, he helped me, because I said, like, I need to figure out a way to get this to be more palatable for people, but for it to make sense.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where the Orthodox therapist was born, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of how it was born.
I think everyone should check out your Instagram. I think like you do a really good job of explaining. So if anyone's interested in this topic specifically, you have so many posts about it.
Yeah, about Taras Mishpacha specifically, definitely. About Hilchos Nida, definitely. It is starting to shift a little bit around also into like parenting and things like that, because whether or not I want to say I'm an expert, I'm definitely not an expert in anything. I would never say I'm an expert in something. I love when people say that, like Lauren Hofstatter, expert. I'm like, I'm not an expert. Please stop saying that. Or like celebrity. Ew, I don't want to be a celebrity. I just want to be a regular person.
That's so cute.
That's it. I just want to help people.
You're just humble.
Yeah, I just want to help people. That's it. I don't want, no.
People like to, I think people sometimes need, and it's not even about you, people just need to put that like status for them to be like, okay, she knows what she's talking about.
Right.
Like a separation.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's interesting.
So
that's so
not
funny.
my type at all. Not at all.
That's great. I think that's more genuine.
Yeah. I don't, that's one thing. People say I'm very, very genuine. I try. But sometimes I'm too genuine. And then, you know.
What do you mean by that?
Like
backfires?
Like recently, more so because I was getting messages about it. I've been going through a tough time personally. Thank God we're all healthy. Everything is fine. For me, when things don't go perfectly, again, this is probably another space where I have control issues. Yeah. It's very anxiety provoking for me. And it just, people can see it on my face right away. I wear my heart on my sleeve. People can see it right away. It's very, very hard for me as a human being to not be genuine. That's just my personality. So I had shared on my Instagram. I didn't give details because it's really not anyone's business. Thank God everyone's fine. Like that I shared. But like, I'm going through a personal struggle and it's hard. Somebody asked me if I was getting divorced. I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm going to post that on my Instagram. Like, what?
Was this your Tisha B'Av post?
Yeah, my Tisha B'Av post. Okay. Yes, my Tisha B'Av post. And then I think there was one. Yeah, I think it was
like a follow-up.
Yeah, exactly. Just because I was getting so many messages like, are you okay? Like, we noted. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, fine. My 21,000 closest friends, I'll tell you that I'm not okay. And then I'll be okay. And everyone's fine and healthy. Because you know what? Like, I was just talking to my client before I got on about this. Like, even though things are hard in life, you kind of want to try to focus on the positive and the bracha. And like, thank God, like, I have a tremendous amount of bracha in my life. But it's hard. Sometimes I'm a negative Nancy. It's hard.
Well, I think naturally our brains tend to go to that. And also I think it's very hard when you're told constantly, like, why are you complaining? You have so much going for you.
Right.
And but at the end of the day, if something is, you're struggling with something, you're allowed to
it
deal
feels
with
so invalidating when somebody says,
Exactly.
Why are you not more happy?
Yeah.
Like, you have 10 beautiful children.
Yeah. But it's like, how does one thing negate the other?
It doesn't.
It's not.
It doesn't.
Exactly. It's no
Somebody who's
connection.
not a therapist would say that. But you have so much going for you. No,
Yeah,
even
that's very
saying it
like
in that way.
one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Very one-dimensional.
Me, like, as a therapist, how would I say that? Let's try to think of one thing that was good today.
Mm-hmm.
Not, you have so much like, no, like, not
Right.
to be more abstract. And that's another thing I would share. If you want to try to be there for somebody, the whole point of being there for somebody and trying to help them focus on the positive is trying to be there for somebody in the way that they need, not the way that's most comfortable for you.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
So they'll say to you, so it's very easy for someone to say, oh, focus on your barachos, you have somebody.
Yeah.
No.
Because it's easier for them.
Yeah, it's easier for the person
Yeah.
saying it, like,
Yeah.
oh, like, because they're uncomfortable. Rather just say,
Yeah.
like, I really don't have words. This must be really hard.
Yeah.
Just validate.
Or like, how can I help?
Yeah. How can I
Right.
help you? How can I be helpful to you? Meaning in the way that you need. When I say that to people, they're like, what are you asking me? They think it's like suspicious almost.
Yeah.
I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm genuinely asking what your needs are. It's okay. You can
Wow.
tell me.
Yeah. It's really interesting because my father used to tell me this. He's like, when somebody says I love you, you have to make sure that it's not like I love you, it's I love you. And it's like showing
Right.
you're loving them the way they want to be, need to be loved, not the way you want to love.
I'm happy that he
right?
told
It's
you
like-
that, because that's
Yeah,
that's
he's
the
so
core
smart.
that's the core of relationships, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Any relationships, that you be there for the other person in the way that they need.
Yeah.
Not in the way that you
Same-
think works for you. That's
Exactly.
pretty much a key issue that I see with couples, is that, or
Yeah,
even
I
with
can
people that
imagine.
in their friendships, that they forget how to be there for other people, and they start trying to be there, or they use their I use the word love languages a lot, but even
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
They try to be there for their friend, for their husband, for their child in a way that's easiest for them.
Right.
But sometimes that doesn't work. Like, you know what I mean? When it's
Yeah.
you have to like think about the other person too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we can have a whole podcast on that.
Okay.
So you did mention that your children know about what you do and they're okay with it, but I'm curious, like when you started posting like the NGLs and like the sex stuff on Instagram, did you get like any backlash from the community? Or
In the community,
Yeah?
no.
Okay, so from whom? 'Cause you made a face.
My daughter, no, I got backlash online, tons.
Mm-hmm.
People DMing me like, ew, whatever. Okay, bye.
Really?
Beyond.
Okay.
I had to block a lot of people. It was super inappropriate, saying super highly inappropriate things to me, like really bad. My daughter, my 18-year-old, actually follows me, and sometimes she'll call me like, "Mommy, no, mommy, please don't do this."
Yeah.
Like, she'll tell me, and sometimes,
Okay.
but I think for her, because my other kids are not, don't follow me and are not on social media. I mean, WhatsApp. I don't think WhatsApp is social media, but they're not on Instagram, so they don't follow me, and I don't think it's age appropriate for them. My daughter's over 18. She's mature. It's
Right.
different. I didn't get backlash from the community. Actually, the rabbi of our shul came up to me in shul like a couple days after it went like pretty viral, and he was like, "You're doing a great job. Good for you."
Wow.
And he's I don't know if he'd be okay with me saying who he is, because a lot
But
of
that's
times
so special.
he's
That's
awesome.
so special.
He is. Oh my gosh! But a lot of times when people ask me that they have a question, that's a shaila. It's not just a question. I can't answer. I'm not a rabbi.
Right.
Even if I know the halachos, I tell them like, "This is my rabbi. I'm happy to ask for you on your behalf, but you have to feel comfortable with that." Like, it used to be, in the earlier NGLs, I would post his name with things, and he called me. He's like, "Please stop posting my name
Oh my god.
all over your Instagram."
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
Fine. Fine. It gives me more clout, but whatever. People
Yeah,
will
yeah.
believe me more, but whatever. So yeah, so
Okay, so you did get a lot of weird messages online.
Beyond.
That's what I was. Okay.
beyond. Yeah. And people, beyond. Yeah. I still do sometimes. Can I go out with your child? Can I date your daughter? No.
Why do you feel like people just feel entitled because they just feel like they have access to you?
Maybe. I don't know. I
It's, like,
but I
just so
think people,
confusing.
I don't think people realize that I'm the one in the DMs. Like, it's me. It's not a robot.
Oh.
Yeah. I think sometimes they don't realize that I'm the one answering the questions sometimes, or I'm the one in
That's
my,
wild.
like, I'm the one in my emails, not like my assistant. Like, it's me.
You don't have an assistant. You don't have
No.
an AI bot.
No, it's me.
Okay, that's so. I never even thought of that.
Yeah,
Wow.
you're talking to me,
Yeah.
the human, not a robot, not an AI. They don't realize that, and I think once they do, and I send them like a voice note, let's say, they're
They
like,
get embarrassed.
yeah,
They're like, oh man, that was not my intention. That's so funny.
yeah.
Okay, I don't want to end this because I'm really enjoying the conversation. I feel like this was solely for me. But the way I end is by asking all my guests what being a trailblazer means to you.
So for me, being a trailblazer is helping people within the Orthodox Jewish community at large understand that, number one, intimacy and relationships are hard. and that you can make change. It's okay. And that we're all kind of in the same boat, but also to kind of show women you can do it all if you find the right balance, which I'm still working on. Let's be crystal clear. But you can have the kids and have the job and have the career and still be a good mother. And it doesn't make you a bad person if you want to have a career. Like, that's something that I hope that people seeing this will hear and understand and that it will resonate with them.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much, Lauren.
My pleasure.
I had a great time.
Thank you so much.